I have been disillusioned by CS. Deleted. This happened with lawyers a decade or more ago, where law schools were graduating substantially more lawyers than there were going to be lawyer jobs. It's what happens when people go, "I want lots of money." If teachers started getting paid software developer salaries tomorrow, there would be a stampede to the registrar's office, so everyone could change their majors. What happens to the people who don't get jobs? One of two things. They work somewhere else, or the industry realizes they're TTING on a gold mine of human desperation and they start lowballing the shit out of remote junior dev salaries. Why hire one when you can hire two for the same price? If people say, "I can't afford to work for that price," they'll just move on until they find applicants who will take 40 grand a year and live with their parents. It's a talent bubble, and bubbles burst. This is actually exactly what happened with teachers in Chicago and NY. When I studied education in college, everyone told me I'd never get a job. People I studied with went into other fields or got teaching-adjacent school jobs if they didn't want to stick it out. Now, that wave is subsiding. I'm not surprised that the one thing I haven't heard in any of these posts is, "I'm going to spend a year getting my teaching certification and then teach STEM classes." And, at least they're honest about not wanting that, because they'd get eaten alive by the kids. And that's just at the student teaching stage, let alone after they get jobs. Seriously, though, none of them are even entertaining the notion that they might have to do something else, and it's like they think there's no jobs in world other than software engineer and retail peon. I think a lot of them need 6 or 12 months in retail, because a harsh punch in the face by reality, which I know retail work delivers, because I did 10 years of it, would really help to readjust their view of the world, and maybe get them thinking about those non-programming jobs they haven't been applying to, or at the very least the non-remote jobs. I'm open to other IT careers like sysadmin and network admin myself, but I think people like me, those who just graduated with a CS degree, are just completely lost on where to even begin with something like that. Yeah, that's because other people get degrees in that stuff. It's not that they're stupid and can't do computer science. That's the purview of cybersecurity majors. They just like that stuff and say, "I would like to operate networks, great and small." If you knew you wanted to do this as a fallback a couple of years ago, those would have been good classes to take as electives. What you might want to do instead is take the networking classes at your local community college, then chase that with getting the certifications that the IT grads already have, and then you can battle them for supremacy in the job market. And what happens if you're truly passionate? I guess you just die? If you're passionate, then work for it. Plenty of passionate people have nothing to show for their passion. Ask John Carmack. He faced hell trying to land a stable job despite showing off in every single way. It's not that. It feels like if I can't land a job, then I would have to spend the rest of my life in fast food and DoorDashing. Either I get a job in this field or I will never be able to do it even as a hobby again, since I'll have to spend every moment doing menial labor just to not starve or freeze to death. That's a lot of melodrama. Most people don't work their college major job. You could run a small business, apply to white-collar jobs that take any degree, retrain. What do you think most psychology, arts major do? I don't have any ideas for businesses. I'm terrible at idea generation. It's also pretty accepted that the jobs for useless degrees are going to be eaten by ChatGPT really fucking soon, even before software. Well, if that's your outlook on life, you won't be getting anywhere anytime soon. You're not destitute. I'd also argue that if you're actually cut out for the field, you'll find a job. I'm reviewing resumes for an opening we have at my company, and I've interviewed maybe 7 to 8 people in the past. I'm a entry-level, junior with 2 YOE, and the most common thing even I see is people who can't write a resume or have the communication skills of a fucking doorknob. It may sound condescending, but I have no idea how some of these people graduated with their degrees. They're utterly useless. If you didn't put any effort into your degree while you were taking it, then you're DOA. Writing a good resume and having good interview skills is mostly common sense and effort.
Read the room, read the expression on the interviewer's face, and for the love of God read the job description. If you can write a good, and I mean good resume, you'll get past screening. Afterwards it's just you and your chop.
Greater than the most common thing even I see is people who can't write a resume or have the communication skills of a fucking doorknob.
I like to say they couldn't find their ass with both hands and an ass map.
At my school, junior seminar is where they make all of the students in the Applied Sciences program write resumes. The resumes are graded. Mock interviews are done. Those are graded. So, I don't understand schools where they go, we taught you stuff.
Get the fuck out, without actually macking.
Gee, sure, they're workforce, or at least real world, ready.
Greater than so, I don't understand schools where they go, we taught you stuff. Get the fuck out.
Well, they got their money out of you for 4 years, so there's not much more you can do for them.
So they don't really give a shit about you anymore. I do put effort in. I've gotten my resume reviewed and revised probably dozens of times now.
It feels so hard to make myself known though.
I'm not implying that you don't put in effort, I'm implying that if you are putting in effort, a job will come eventually.
The market is shit, but people are still getting hired every day. You're the sort that memorizes LeetCode answers, aren't you? Like, you see a problem and think, this is like LeetCode number 42.
Or, do you just use logical principles to come up with the answer on the fly?
Because one of these is useful to a business, and the other one is, significantly less so. The person who memorizes answers, as if all possible interview and LeetCode scenarios have already been written, is going to get replaced by AI. That's the simple answer.
The other person is going to write the architecture that is written by AI. And the person across the interview desk from you is going to know which one you are, sure as if you tattooed it on your forehead.
The people who memorize LeetCode answers, recruiters are gonna look at them like, this person's mentor would fucking murder me for wasting his time with this guy.
I mean, y'all took a DSA class, so why are you memorizing answers? Shit. From a logical standpoint, anything that doesn't strictly fall under DSA usually RKS the way you think it would. I always ask the students I tutor, why is it that you have no problem sorting a deck of cards, but you can't sort a batch of 52 unique integers?
It's the same thing. Asterisk.
I went back to visit my community college, to kind of pitch my university, and my old professor threw a LeetCode question at me in front of his class. I shrugged and started flowcharting it on the board. And then some dickhead in the back of the class says that's not as good as writing the code. And I go, you want that in C, C++, C#, Swift, Python, or Java? This drawing is the program, and it is language agnostic. And then my old professor lamented the fact that I'd rather program stoplights, robotic arms, and conveyor belts than computers. I don't do a lot of LeetCode.
My creative capacity was just beaten out of me from an extremely young age, so I can only be creative with implementation rather than concept.
I could only join startups as a technical founder. I could never create one unless I somehow unlearned maybe 10 years of conditioning. With your limiting thoughts, good luck.
Judging from your responses, you've already convinced yourself and are in a negative spiral. If you were truly passionate, all of these negatives wouldn't affect your ability to do any of this, you do it despite them.
Also, if you're passionate, it should not be hard to become an expert and have both a broad as well as a deep niche skill set you're passionate about. You'd also have projects and contribute to projects because you have passion and would be known by the community of said proye.
CTS. Not because you're trying to complete a checklist of job requirements, but because you enjoy and are passionate about it.
It doesn't really sound like you're passionate about it at all to me.
Greater than if you were truly passionate, all of these negatives wouldn't affect your ability to do any of this, you do it despite them.
And I do.
That doesn't stop me from feeling like I've fallen in love with a dying field. Greater than also if you're passionate, it should not be hard to become an expert and have both a broad as well as a deep niche skill set you're passionate about.
I made the mistake of doing work that is so fucking oversaturated that it's not even funny. I don't even know if I can respec. IA lies in time. Greater than you'd also have projects and contribute to projects because you have passion and would be known by the community of said projects. I do. I have multiple real-world projects. I've created things with thousands of users. Skill issue then.
That's so stupid. If most people don't work their college major job, then it's a worthless waste of time that you paid money for. Why the fuck pay money and put in effort to study when you could have skipped all that and just opened your corner shop 3 to 4 years earlier? Because there's studies that show that a bachelor's degree is one of the most effective ways of increasing your salary cap. Most jobs ask for it, and unless you're a successful entrepreneur you won't really make more than you can by getting a bachelor's and a good job. Well, that's exactly my point, that most people do use their degree, otherwise why even bother with it?
I don't know what the op is talking about. I thought everyone knew that degrees were basically worthless for about 25 years now. When are you finally going to get it through your head? If everyone knew it, why are they still getting degrees then?
Maybe because they're not actually worthless? It's because the "you'll be flipping burgers" fear-mongering remains in full force and most people can't resist that. Combined with unlimited money being available up front and the poor decision-making of 17-year-olds.
Oh shit, you've got a CS degree and you're flipping burgers. And $200,000 in loans too.
They go back to school for a CS degree. Sad face. If you're passionate, you'll get a job. The market is bad right now, but for people passionate about coding, your portfolio and enthusiasm to go to tech events will eventually land you something. Do keep in mind a lot of this subreddit is students who don't actually know what it's like, who often aren't even seniors, and people who are only in tech for the money and hate forcing themselves to code outside of work, school.
Most of my friends who actually enjoy CS have all found jobs after graduating.
Last May from a low-rank college if a positive anecdote helps your anxiety at all. What else would these students not passionate about CS do though?
Probably go into project management or sales.
Unless you're lucky, you need to be disciplined enough to work hard, or passionate enough that you just want to work hard to make it as an SWE now.
Where can I find these tech events? Google tech events in your city. A lot of cities have Facebook groups or Discord groups for events. Also, if you're a student, go to your school and ask the heads of tech departments or even profs, instructors if they have any events or groups they know of. Check to see if your school has any coding, tech, IT clubs too. If it doesn't already have a club, you can always start one yourself. There's probably at least a dozen people in the same boat as you. School is a great way to kick off your netwo. RK. You can also look through linked.in. https://linked.in. Some cities will have a linked.in. https://linked.in. group for tech as well. It isn't that nobody's getting hired in CS, it's that it's harder to get hired in CS. If you're truly passionate, you ideally have the skill and work ethic to rise above the crowd. Passion often manifests itself in things that look good on a resume, like contribution to well-known open-source projects. Or you find something to do like self-publishing software or bug bounty work that pays without a job. Or you find some sort of niche like a security clearance that filters out much of the competition. The issue, it feels like I'll always just get outcompeted by the Ivy League student that just does more or has family that can nepa baby them in, no matter what I do. In what field would that not be true? Do you think this doesn't happen to econ majors? Engineering? Political science? You're going to have to come up with a better argument than that, and that's before considering there are way fewer of them than there are positions. Even if every one of them got a position, there's still the other 90% of positions. The problem isn't fighting the nepo babies. The problem is you're going to fight each other, and there's way more of you than there are positions. The real problem is all of you want to work at the same 8 or 10 companies, and you think you should never have to do anything but program computers for the rest of your lives, and a lot of you are going to have to take jobs where you only program computers some of the time. And those jobs are going to pay way less than you hoped.
But the world doesn't owe you anything. You're not a victim any more than someone who studies acting is a victim because there are way fewer paying roles than there are actors. You just muddle through, like everybody else. Nepotism certainly helps, but there are more jobs than there are nepo babies out there. Part of it is managing expectations, like I never stood in line for Amazon or Google at job fairs because A, the line was freaking long, and B, I knew I was not a competitive applicant compared to some of the people in that line. Of course, this was a few years ago, and the hiring climate was better, but I got my job by going to the desks at career fairs that weren't getting a lot of attention.
If you're a
big school, there are sometimes smaller, workforce development programs that more or less railroad you into a summer internship with little competition because they aren't well advertised or are ran by some of the more insular organizations or labs. It doesn't hurt to poke your nose into niche stuff and see if they're hiring. Even something like an unpaid research assistantship goes onto a resume or gives you a leg up for a grad school sponsorship.
Look for things like open houses put on by labs. I already do that. I sweep career fair talking to so much people and avoid the large lines, and it's so hard for me to get attention. You and I are in entirely different markets. Work on personal projects while you do some sort of a job that takes 40 hours a week and doesn't drain you. If you're truly passionate, then you do it even if it makes no money, on evenings and weekends, like the majority of people who are passionate about things like music or dance or sports. I think it's very, very unlikely that software will get to that level of saturation.
But that's what happens to most people's passions. If you're truly passionate, you do the work for nothing.
Start your own company. I'm not good at idea generation. Only implementation. Can't even be a technical founder since nobody I know is considering creating a startup. Artists and animators would like to have a word with you.
You'll probably find a job. CS won't die. I think the salaries will probably be significantly slashed, and will be similar to other engineering positions. AKA starting around 70 to 80K on average outside of the very top percentage. It's not a bad gig, but I think CS has ballooned an unreasonable amount.
LeetCode is something we all should be proud of.
So interesting to see how people can live on different salaries.
40K would mean I get a decent rental, could start martial arts again, and eat healthy food. Lol, that's some guts. To shit on laid-off Googlers like that, while yourself trying to bank on the big names in your resume. And also having done literally nothing ever.
Bro acts like he's the only one in the world who likes CS not for the money. Hint. Most people in CS don't just do it for the money. Op is not that special.
Most humble CS major.
S2G. This sub is so entitled at times.
Tears of joy. Greater than they didn't do anything. Greater than let me tell you all about my 3-month internship. I got my dev environment up and running and then went back to school smiley face. Hey, those dev envs are tricky tears of joy. God damn, you got his ass. There's not enough water in the Amazon to cool off this burn. Got him.
This sub really needs a reality check.
Boo-hoo. We can't make 250 KTC out of college.
Cry me a river for fuck's sake. There's shit tons of good CS jobs that aren't in tech with decent pay.
And regarding the "if you love engineering" crap in your post.
Guess what? Every single engineering major is oversaturated.
The entire world is oversaturated. Even fucking liberal arts majors who make shit money are oversaturated. Everything becomes more competitive over time. My grandpa went to Stanford for undergrad in 1970 with a 3.0 GPA from high school.
Now look at what people are doing to get similar results.
Bottom line, life goes on, you'll find a job.
Nailed it. The irony is in how Op is positioning themselves as a down-and-out pure engineer, but is also screaming on a boat for their expected return offer to Meta.
It's a mask-off moment. Buddy doesn't have an offer 2 months before graduation and thinks his life is over LMAO.
Agreed, but you won't get these kids to see that until they are mature. It's so frustrating as a professor seeing these posts. I just want to scream in their face, "You're going to be fucking okay, at least you're not coal miner." Like our worst case scenario is working for 65 GS in an air-conditioned room essentially updating tech from the early 2000s and attending 300 meetings.
I don't think people are complaining about not getting 250 KTC out of college. They're complaining about just jobs alone, which in itself in the current market is a valid choice to make. I myself don't care if I make 50K or 60K. There's a reason as to why budgeting matter.
But personally, I think that I have been hoodwinked by societal pressures to college as a whole, and as such, I've been struggling heavily as to what it means now that I found myself at one of the lowest point of my life.
I'd
have ran away from home and made a new start for myself, but instead I was stupid enough to consider college as an option, but never realizing that every choices I've made so far has been alienating me toward my family, and now I'm at the point of getting kicked out, so nowhere near better as to where I was 18.
I mean, what's the alternative? You can still go back and work a back-breaking trade job if that's what you're interested in. But personally I think it's better to find some shitty office job. At least you're getting paid chilling in a climate-controlled office. Greater than bottom line. Life goes on, you'll find a job.
That's just not real. Only 25% of STEM majors actually work in STEM for a reason.
Only a certain percentage of people graduating from these high-paying fields will get their toe in the door. For the rest, they have to opt out to a lower-paying career just to earn a living.
Greater than this sub really needs a reality check.
Boo-hoo. We can't make 250 KTC out of college.
Cry me a river for fuck's sake.
There's shit tons of good CS jobs that aren't in tech with
decent pay.
Where?
Seriously, where?
What is this made-up statistic you're presenting?
In reality, 49% of STEM majors have STEM jobs. https://nces.ed.gov/programs/co/pdf/co_espia.pdf not 25%.
Your statistics are wrong, as another comment pointed out.
You're also welcome. Go work in any other field. It doesn't necessarily have to be in CS. There's tons of business analyst jobs that pay the same if not more than CS, and those employers don't care about your major.
The CS jobs you're looking for are outside of tech, as I said. Think about where your friends in EE or ME are applying. Automotive, aerospace, manufacturing, robotics, industrial automation. As a new CS grad, what non-tech industries would you recommend I look for my first CS job in? Well, that's what we get after millions of videos, TikToks and posts of, "a day as a software developer in, insert company, asterisk, showing a fancy live, not doing a thing." The career started to get hyped like it was an NFT. Though this would make me think it's flooded with unqualified people who are applying for the lazy factor to make a lot of money. But that's clearly not the case, or else people with decent resumes wouldn't struggle so much getting jobs. I've always thought this take was absolute horseshit. Yes, it's true the majority will be unqualified people. But those TikToks get hundreds of millions to billions of views all combined. And guess what? Not only do you get an influx of unqualified people, but you also get a huge percentage of those who are motivated, smart, and willing to work for those positions all over the world. If you have 80 million viewers, and only 0.5% of those viewers are hard workers and competent and dedicated to pursue CS, that is still 400k people you're competing with. Even if only 5 people graduate into the CS job market per class, which is definitely not the case, it's a lot more. You multiply that by every single university across the nation and outside of it, and what do you have? That's 4,000 unis x 5 students each is already 20k. Now imagine if it was the actual number of CS graduates per school, and remember this number increases by over 10% annually, I think. Combine that with the number of job postings decreasing by like 60%, and what do you get? It doesn't matter if the vast majority is unqualified. It's still bound to hit a massive amount of dedicated people.
In fact, that small percentage that is dedicated is actually scarier than the unqualified because it shows they're willing to put the work in, so they are tougher competition.
I'm not sure how people don't understand this.
You're right. My point is just that it's not flooded because of lazy people seeing the easy cushy jobs. It's flooded because it's a great field that many motivated people want to get into.
Op is one of those unqualified people. Nobody thinks 2 steps ahead like that. They see someone doing well with X, they want to do X.
They don't think, oh, everyone else will also try X, so I might try something else because it will get flooded. In fact, I thought about this and told my peers and family in 2019. And back then, if you even mentioned saturation on our CS career questions, you would be nailed to a cross for committing blasphemy. Because the majority of SWEs never thought ahead at all. These only chased money, and it was as you said, they just wanted to do X. They never thought about the consequences of their actions. Wait, so you mean I can't just eat free snacks all day if I work for FANG?
People are still posting these, by the way. Alumni at my school still are, at least.
It's just awful. It's to the point where I have set up Instagram to filter out any post with keywords software, software engineer, computer science, and FAANG.
Stop wasting time on Instagram altogether. I deleted TikTok a couple weeks ago. I am thinking about deleted Instagram next. Cold sweat smile. I'm sure that's the main reason. Yeah, those TikToks definitely convinced millions of kids to enroll, graduate with a CS degree in 1.5 years, and swiftly enter the workforce. Big 10 are not the only ones hiring SWE, Jesus. Target pays 6 figures, Walmart as well.
Healthcare pays a bit lower, but the work-life balance is amazing, and benefits are the same. The Army is really good too.
Airlines are good too. If you think you can make it in finance, quants are the cherry on top.
You are just so concerned about what FAANG does that you're missing a lot of opportunities.
I notice most new grads that are complaining about no jobs are the ones applying only to big companies.
There's so many smaller companies that you have a better chance at.
They need a reality check.
Exactly. Like, sure, you might not have a free lunch at the cafeteria, but that doesn't mean there aren't any good opportunities. For all it's worth, I know Target hasn't laid off any of their tech engineers. They rather wanted to absorb the loss over a small period of time than losing their employees. That speaks volumes.
I'd assume if PPL applied to 2,000 job postings that includes Target, no?
How did you conclude they only applied to big firms?
Also, there are a ton of jobs CS grads can do. Math-related jobs, managing team jobs, example healthcare offices, and a ton of others. I am shocked that so many people are just looking at one avenue. So many jobs are now requiring SWE experience. I'm still in school for the next 2 years and every class one take looks like it is branching out to other fields.
Precisely.
I just went with the SWE example as it's probably what it is looking for. Data science is huge in healthcare.
Don't even worry about what the job requires. Nobody would land a job if we just apply based on what HR thinks what the job is about.
Greater than Target pays 6 figures, Walmart as well. Check the recent job posts for these jobs on LinkedIn. 900 plus applications for positions uploaded a few days ago. Never apply through LinkedIn. Always use a referral and apply directly through the careers page. Also, who knows if there really are 900 people? LinkedIn is a black box.
Ignoramus comment. Yes, there are people applying only to FAANG, but for each of them there are 100 students applying to any company that has a pulse. Just ask your recruiter about how many LinkedIn messages they get a day.
Even no-name companies these days get like 200 applicants per CS-related role.
Not ignorant at all. If you make your LinkedIn profile appealing, those recruiters will come to your inbox. Besides, it's always been like that. FAANG companies get millions of applicants. It's easier to get through 100 than millions. Just tailor the resume, and if you pass the computer screening, then from there you can finally connect with a human. I've been there. I've been through the job search in this type of condition. I know what works. I literally got a new job a month ago.
The issue
is, people will always complain and won't put any effort in making themselves marketable. They'll be using the same resume for all applications. At least change some wording so it matches the description. You don't even have to do it. LLM models will do it for you. That's the most stupid comment I've ever read. Bro, the problem aren't FAANG but the market as a whole.
There are no job openings. People are sending 500 plus CVs. That is not true at all. There is a job opening every single day. The thing is not to apply in bulk every Saturday, it's to apply every day. OFK person facepalming. In other countries, most business, airlines and some healthcare jobs are saturated and the only jobs left are the ones nobody wants and have high turnover. Or there is no work left at all and all careers are saturated. It was just an example to expand your horizon beyond FAANG companies. If people are applying to 1K positions, I'm sure they are applying to those companies as well. You'd be surprised, I've met so many students not doing it. People are delusional if they think this market is going to correct itself.
Everyone and their two cousins have jumped into a CS program looking to make easy money. Very similar to what happened to lawyers in the 2000s. Field just got too saturated at the bottom, and while the people at the top who already made it were fine, if you didn't graduate from a top target school you had no future.
The field as a whole never recovered. So CS is fine if you go to a top target school?
If you graduated from MIT, yeah, you'll probably be fine.
Just like lawyers who graduate from Yale aren't exactly homeless on the street. I think people here put too much emphasis on school for CS. Once you have solid industry experience, nobody is going to care what school you went to. Yes. But you have to get that experience first.
As a new grad.
With little else besides school to speak for you. School matters a lot more now. Our company used to recruit everywhere for new grads, even local CC. Now only T10 grads considered. Fuck my life. Why did I never pay attention to college rankings? Lol. Thank God. I was born in a state with really good public schools that rival top privates and are way easier to get into.
Like transfer, for example.
Too late for me to transfer. I could only go to a grad school recruiters could recognize, but then I would have to do research on top of every other fucking thing. What you could do is go to a grad school and I have a job at the same time and hopefully it is able to be paid by them.
Doesn't help if I can't get into a grad school with name recognition.
Lol, don't take out loans for grad school hoping it will land you some low-paying front-end dev job. It would give me time to escape the web development tar pit into something that has future, like robotics and embedded systems. It would also probably be in a real engineering degree like EE. That's surprising. I'd imagine companies would much more care about matching skill sets and portfolio experience than school. I think the T10 schools produce more CS grads than entry-level jobs RN. There are plenty of people with matching skill sets and experience from those schools. It saves recruiting resources to just pick from 10 schools. For the first job, yeah, you're right. I just mean even if you don't go to T10, it won't make a ton of difference in the long run. It might just be harder at first to land something. Not true. It does make a difference in the long run if you look at the salaries of people years after grad. Those are not mutually exclusive. You will find that more at a top school. I think what you mean is they only recruit juniors from T10 schools, right? Work for big tech and my firm only recruits from target schools nowadays. If I am a URM at Berkeley, do I have a good shot at your company? You have a shot.
How much? Your resume will be actually looked at as opposed to being thrown out immediately, I suppose.
Berkeley is a target school. I don't know hash of interns or FTE hires, but I know it's a target. Will I be fine if I graduate from Berkeley? So what happens when you didn't go to a top school?
Die? You have to fight for scraps with the other 100,000 mediocre CS grads fighting for any entry-level position.
Is there any way to escape?
Can I apply upwards to a better grad school?
Please, I don't want to DoorDash for the rest of my life. Choose a different major. Like what?
I can't afford to switch.
I could never compete with someone who actually cares. I would just fucking fail and flounder in a real job.
Put your effort into finding any kind of software engineering job, at any company, somewhere anywhere in the US rather than spend additional years getting another piece of paper to try to get through some ATS system.
It will pay off a lot faster and leave you in a lot less debt. Please.
Dude, you've made a whole account purely to CS Doom post?
Don't you think it's impacting your mental health? Take a break and work on your projects or something else. Crying online isn't going to help your future or your mental health. I am crying for help in the hope that someone gives me the advice that will allow me to survive and not spend the rest of my life hungry making minimum wage. We're deep in the comments section, so I'll share a dirty trick that worked for me. Once you graduate with your degree, sign up for an in-person bootcamp.
Go there, don't tell a soul that you already know this stuff. Just go through the entire course, humbly and efficiently. They will think you're a coding god.
Befriend everyone, especially the staff.
Become a TA afterwards and befriend all your students. Leverage this network to get a referral. I can't get away with that.
My autistic baby face is a dead giveaway that I'm the type to have been coding since middle school. The first job is a numbers game, so don't rage quit. You're exaggerating how problematic the market is and looking at the past with rose-colored glasses. Remember, you only need one offer to gain industry experience.
When applying to companies with more than a few thousand employees, always do it through a referral. You can easily get those on Blind.
Your primary value as a new grad is your hunger to demonstrate your worthiness. There's no such thing as work-life balance in the first year, so lean into that in your interviews and in the way you position yourself. No one really cares how knowledgeable you are.
All this stuff is pretty simple and teachable in the end. The death throes of CS are literally what every person in almost every other industry goes through to get a job. This is just a reality check. Tada, that's all there is to it.
Source. Recently laid off Googler of 5 years, from a non-traditional background with a music degree from a shit no-name state school.
You can literally just ask people on Blind for a referral? People you don't even know? On a place even more toxic than the CS subreddits?
Yeah, of course.
They get paid if you get the job.
Bro, delete this app. Putting your head in the sand doesn't help.
Bros on suicide watch, log off. What is your demographic? What do you think about DAE?
And do you think those people are fine? You could probably try law or med school.
I can't even try that option.
It doesn't work that way in my country. I am fucked. Law got oversaturated like CS in the 2000s.
Healthcare is getting oversaturated really soon, considering everyone talking about being nurses.
Yeah, but doctors will always have a place. They're always in demand even in recession. Want advice? Focus on building up your coding abilities through stuff you're actually interested in. And not in a fake, I want a job so I followed a Twitter clone tutorial on YouTube kind of way. There are so many interesting projects to build that would impress people beyond that of the run-of-the-mill CS or bootcamp grad. Imagine having you built a small indie game in Unreal on your resume, or you built a crypto trading bot, or you built a mobile game in Unity and put it on the App Store. Or you built a cryptocurrency in Solidity. If you want to stand apart from everyone else, you have to be different from everyone else. I already do that. I built an app when I was like 15. It has a couple thousand users and something on the order of 50,000 lines of code. I've participated in actual real-world projects with tangible impact. But it feels as if I'll always be out-competed by the guy at Stanford that has something even better. What languages or frameworks do you know? What kind of role are you going for? Maybe start applying to mid-level roles and put your real work application experience on your resume as job experience. Currently stuck in the full stack tar pit. Got a lot of mobile development experience too. I'm looking for internships right now, and honestly I'm only comfortable putting one of my projects as work experience since it's for a real organization. Well, to be honest, you sound above the skill level of most of juniors or interns.
Just be sure you have all of your projects on your resume, and write good descriptions on the problem you solved and results you got.
And branch out your roles.
You'll be surprised how fluid a lot of these postings are. CS internships are their own breed, as those do tend to hyper-focus on grades and school ranking. But once you finish the degree, the jobs that care about that stuff fall off dramatically.
I have
a friend in 2023 who got a job offer for a mid-level role fresh out of a code camp, and she doesn't even have a CS degree at all. It's all about how you sell yourself. Greater than CS internships are their own breed, as those do tend to hyper-focus on grades and school ranking. But once you finish the degree, the jobs that care about that stuff fall off dramatically.
Yep. And I'm at a positively average T100 campus that is only renowned in other engineering fields.
No wonder I barely get hits.
The comparison to lawyers is pretty flawed because the field has actually shrunk since 2008.
And when it was getting hot, there was no material change in the number of positions available.
I get the whole supply and demand aspect of the labor market,
but wages are sticky, and we already have a bimodal compensation system, which is what most people refer to when doom and glooming law.
What a ridiculous and short-sighted statement. LMAO, are you fucking 23? Do you not see how much more our career will grow in the next couple decades?
Like, do you think we are gonna freeze technologically? Do you think that the ratio isn't in our favor? God, this doomed shit so fucking old, guys.
Please get real work experience instead of pissing on the net.
The problem is at least law is hard. Not anyone can become a lawyer, but for CS, literally study for 1 year on your own and you will be better than 99% of fresh CS graduates. This shit is so easy compared to other fields that have similar median pay.
Everyone and their mom can code now.
Soon companies will realize that and start dropping bachelor's degree required from their job postings, and when that happens, we're basically done for.
Let's be honest, computer science is over as a promise. Ing degree, and I don't recommend it to anybody anymore. This sounds like you aren't that good, lol.
You think it's easy? Then why did you quit? Your post says you struggled with entry-level coding classes. How is it easy?
It took me 6 years to get my degree, and I would never describe it as easy. Computer science is more than just coding. Try learning assembly languages if you think it's easy. I swear to God, I read this same exact post a few days ago.
It's annoying how many doom and gloom posts there are. This sub is just god-awful now. Because people think you are going to be handed a perfect job when you have some nice background. Turns out getting a job is still a social process and still requires more than just knowing shit but networking and leaving a good impression on your coworkers. It's frustrating when someone who doesn't really shower or talk to anyone is mad no one is giving them the respect they deserve. LMAO, your last sentence pretty much nailed all of these kinds of posts on this sub.
BC, it's a copy pasta from R. Rutgers Skull.
Here's a sneak peek of R. Rutgers using the top posts. https://np.reddit.com/r/rutgers/top/?sort equals top and t equals year closing parenthesis of the year.
Number 1. To whoever posted this, if you see this, you may want to consult a lawyer.
If the frat boy knew he had AIDS, you can sue him for damages. https://i.red.it/m00fhxjjhjxb1.jpg closing parenthesis. 116 comments. https://np.reddit.com/r/rutgers/comments/17 key 2/posted_whoever_posted_this_if_you_see_this_you_may/closing parenthesis. Number 2. I swabbed every single fraternity on campus and this is the result. http s://i.red.it/y0jo89j9 hevexa1.jpg closing parenthesis. 88 comments. https://np.reddit.com/r/rutgers/comments/137 pika 6/every_single_fraternity_campus_and/closing parenthesis. Number 3. Help. Someone pepper sprayed me in the middle of class? https://np.reddit.com/r/rutgers/comments/1871728/help_someone_pepper_sprayed_me_of/closing parenthesis.
I'm a bot. Beep boop downvote to remove contact
https://www.reddit.com/message/compose/?to=sneak peek bot info https://np.reddit.com/r/sneakpeekb opt out https://np.reddit.com/r/sneakpeekbot/08wk1r/blacklist_x/closing parenthesis. github.com/github.com/ghnr/sneakpeekbot.
Way to showcase the subreddit there, skull.
Bro, IFKNG knew it.
I thought I was tripping, but I know I read this almost word for word somewhere. LMAO.
https://www.reddit.com/r/rutgers/comments/1anhev/I_been_by_cs/.
I even had it upvoted skull. I'm not even a CS major in the States, but holy hell, y'all are some whiny ass bitches. It's all doom and gloom.
Yeah, the market's shit. But that's what happens when it gets overflooded with people looking to major in it. Plus restructuring due to COVID oversizing.
It'll go back to normal soon.
But like, how do you get off shaming the ex-Google engineer for only getting hired because of Google, and supposedly not doing anything, when your ass hasn't done jack shit, and was likely counting on the
same thing? Fuck sake. This is what happens when the major is full of people like you. Nah, Op is different. He has sparkles, passion sparkles. I don't think it's gonna go back to normal, and that's okay.
This pipe. Yeah, and they don't realize that most majors have it a lot worse.
I honestly believe it's an ego thing. I'm a double major. I'm doing both linguistics and computer science. I work my fucking ass off.
Yet I see people way fucking smarter than me, having way more trouble with stuff like regular engineering, chemistry, or physics.
With the latter two having absolutely awful job prospects.
We don't have it that bad. It's gonna get better, and there will always be a need for us.
100% a ego thing.
CS is unarguably one of the easier STEM majors, with probably the highest pay. Lots of morons confuse the higher pay part with intelligence and hard work.
Keep coping that the market will be better, bud. I have a job already, lol, and the CS market is fine where I live. The market won't go to normal, but it will become the new normal. Also, since you don't live in the States, the CS wages are dog shit, so of course the market is fine, it's a garbage market. Lol, okay.
LMAO. Really puts into perspective how much of a sham an economy is running on, and how higher education has been perverted from being a place of learning to a place of career to now a place of desolate poverty that one have to roll the dice or get to the shack, when they could have went to the shack in the first place.
I firmly believe that because of this, many of the more important lessons that one should have learned in college is no longer being applicable.
Can I ask how you're so sure it'll go back to normal soon?
Because I personally do not think so. It's just a personal opinion of mine as well. I thought exactly the same, law. As someone who was laid off from Google, I take offense at your characterization, LMAO. Anyway, feel free to rage quit or whatever.
You do have a value add in being a new hire. Well, not you specifically, since you seem like an entitled little shit, and that's a hunger to perform. That's what you need to sell, not your do-nothing internship at Meta.
Right? Like upskill with knowledge attained from CS degree. Title should be, I feel disillusioned by SWE, grimace. We should all make a day in a life of an unemployed and depressed CS major. If you do an MBA right now, you will F up your future.
MBAs only have value if you go to a top 15 school and you need to have a couple years of experience to get in. The whole point of it is to pivot to another industry like consulting while building your network. If you try to go now, you'd likely only get into a no-name school and pretty much be in the same situation you're in now, only with $200K debt.
Your realistic option is to swallow your pride and work for some random company in Ohio for
a few years and then pivot somewhere else.
Exactly.
Doing MBA is going to be even worse if you don't go to one of those top 15 schools, and not to mention that getting a job in CS might be easier than getting into those schools, LMAO. That random company in Ohio has been insulated with applicants in the hundreds, and their HR team are going to be overwhelmed with them. Not to mention, it's no longer a job scarcity issue, it's a logistic problem. Everyone is into IT now.
Quality has suffered extremely. It just created worse jobs. I still see people wanting to get into it from working in some restaurant, and I have to explain to them how crazy this idea sounds like. Maybe if you make 10 more TikToks you'll get an offer. Fuck all the TikTokers who post day in the life of a SWE. Like, damn, if I was the boss I'd fire their ass for being on the phone during work. Also, op should apply it somewhere other than FAANG. Deleted. Yes. I wouldn't be surprised if a few actually are, though. LMAO. At the base, if more people are qualified, that means you can pay people less since you have more options now. Deleted.
It's really not. TikTok influencers are regularly sponsored by products and companies. Hell, even that day in the life guy got sponsored by Microsoft and the Super Bowl.
You seriously think no one would pay them to promote new engineers into entering the field? Even recruiters were promoting it.
This is not about normal TikTok users, it's about influence. You think everyone pushing learn to code is just for the fun of it?
Dumbass. Deleted. This is why I switched my major to nursing a week ago. I loved learning the abstract math involved and problem solving. Then suddenly I began to see many correlations of tech company layoffs and everybody with their mothers pursuing computer science. I'll take $80K with massive job security over employment with $120K plus with no ensuring that I'd have my job for more than a few months. It's a bad investment, put simply. I feel bad because a lot of the CS colleagues of mine are very likable people and brilliant in their passion. Little do they know what's ahead. I am thinking of doing the same thing. Nurses make good money in my state, and you don't have to apply to 500 jobs. You can just apply to a few and get a job immediately.